Hi, Ashraf. Welcome, and we are delighted to have you with us. We hope to listen into your articulation on the imperatives of the future of trust and security. Welcome.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you. Ashraf, there's a very important set of conversations ahead, and I must ask you this question, which is that as organizations take in the importance or the criticality of cyber resilience and cyber security, they've realized, CISOs and CIOs, that investments are not wanting. But somewhere, perhaps the observation equally is that in the race or the acceleration to build capabilities, and with multiple tools being thrown into the system, organizations perhaps don't realize the levels of complexities that they're generating for themselves. In your view, from Cisco's perspective, how do you advise organizations, CISOs, data protection officers to manage capability versus complexity?
Yeah, that's a good question. I think when it comes to cyber investments, right, siloed thought process or siloed decisions not really go well, right? It kind of brings out challenges for the operations team to manage it. They have to deal with too many consoles when it comes to operating them, and net to get the outcome out of the overall investment, it becomes very tough. So the biggest thing that I see most customers, most organizations missing there is going for a product for a problem, right? They see a problem, they want a functionality, they go for a product. They never really connect the dots between different systems, because at the end of the day, it's all about cyber risk management that we are all into, right? My thought process, or if I am in their shoes, I would look at visibility first, ensuring that I have coverage across all the attack surface. And when I do that, the data, the context that I get from different attack surface should be connected through a common platform.
True.
Right? The platform approach always helps there. So what you see on the end user environment as a threat should be connected to the network, should be connected to the applications, because end of the day, a threat could be entering through an end user, but it is going for the data, right? And that's what the hackers are after. So number one, expand visibility, see more, and make sure that you have coverage across attack surface. Number two, anticipate what next. Use the shared intelligence, actionable intelligence, so that you have the investments covered for what you will hit tomorrow, not just for today, right? So you are future-proof, your investments are future-proof. And always, take the right actions by prioritizing what next, prioritizing the investments, right? Risk-based approach always helps when it comes to investment. So, there's a limitation when it comes to budget. So always focus on what is critical for the business to protect. Use the risk-based thought process in the investment process.
No, that's actually interesting, because what is equally true is most organizations today have a distributed architecture. And I bring this point specifically from the point of view of the data that you brought in. Now, in a distributed architecture of sorts, especially with multi-cloud orchestrations that organizations have, in your view, therefore, and from Cisco's point of view, what is the right approach to data protection?
Okay, so today, if I step back 5 years ago, right, data used to be within a perimeter, within a data center, and we had full control of what what should be allowed, what's not. Today, data is in the cloud. The perimeter is blurred, and you have data in the cloud. The users are also sharing data, and they use shadow IT tools. Like I can choose to use a Google Drive or a OneDrive, whereas the organization prescribes to have certain apps to ensure that the data protection controls are in place. So in my view, enforcement controls should be in place to ensure that data protection policies of an organization is set in the right way. Because today we are living in a world where hybrid work is common. right? And don't have a controlled environment to do all the enforcement from an enterprise using tools in the data center. So my view there would be to focus on investments that covers for traditional as well as the modern approach. For example, today I may be investing on a security solution that covers for my campus, but I should always look forward to a situation where all my data that I have today, if it has to be cloud enabled, if I have to adopt complete all my applications move to cloud, what should I be using as a data security tool or data security solution? So I think that balance between that traditional modern approach is important, and always don't take siloed decision on what comes what I need to focus on when it comes to solving a problem. Take a broader view of having both on-premise and cloud-based solutions so that you have coverage across the ecosystem.
And really, what are the solutions that Cisco has in this specific domain that could help organizations achieve precisely what you just mentioned, which is take a more holistic approach, one that kind of covers all the bases, to take a phrase from sport. What are the solutions that industry can expect Cisco to assist them with?
Yeah, so from a Cisco standpoint, Cisco has solutions that covers for user and device security, network security, and network security today has moved to the cloud edge as well, because network is not always in the perimeter or inside the campus. Today, we have to take security along with the user wherever the user is moving. So we have cloud edge security solutions that delivers security from the cloud and ensures that the organization policies are enforced wherever the user is working from. And we also have security solution that covers for cloud, data center, applications, workloads. So if I look at it, Cisco has a broadest portfolio industry, covers for all the way from a user to app, and having a visibility or enforcement solution that covers for security and security solutions across the ecosystem from user, network, and data in the cloud.
It's actually interesting because I was just thinking about it when you were articulating, and I just realized that you could put in all the solutions, all the innovation, all the tools in place. But if you were not to have the underlying architecture sorted out in a comprehensive fashion, no amount of technology is ever going to help you, isn't it?
Absolutely, that's a critical aspect of any
and specifically because Cisco's got a very powerful story around the entire underlying architecture.
Absolutely, yes. So at some point we had our solutions that were giving a message that we cover for before an attack, during an attack, and after an attack. But today we have put those portfolio together as a security architecture. It kind of helps the customer to see what is the area that I'm trying to protect, and how can I start investing in a way where the investment area that I have connects with what I already have invested in, right? For example, I have invested in an endpoint security solution. Now I'm going for a cloud edge security solution. How do I connect the context from the endpoint security to cloud edge security? Or how do I implement zero trust security on top of it, so that I can make sure that the solution that I'm investing in is future proof.
Indeed. No, that's interesting because there's a particular turn of the phrase, which is that the future of trust begins with zero trust. From Cisco's point of view, Ashraf, how do you see that kind of panning out as a journey? Because for organizations that are journeying towards the future of trust, it is a complex journey, and they're going to need a lot of help along the way. How, in your view, is Cisco very adequately and commensurately poised to be able to help them navigate this fascinating yet complex journey?
Yeah, zero trust is a journey, as you rightly said. It's not a product, it's not a tool, right? The way Cisco has positioned its portfolio for zero trust, it is so comprehensive. It covers for user trust and device trust validation, which is focused on the workforce and wherever they operate from. It also covers for the workplace. If the same user has to, today we are in hybrid work model, most of the users are outside of campus. But when you take the same position inside the campus, we have zero trust capabilities that ensure that when device connects, when the user comes into the campus, whether it's a vendor, partner, or an employee, we can apply zero trust capabilities there to ensure we have the right devices connects to the right network. And if you pan out all the way to the applications in the data center, we have coverage for the workloads because the user connects to the front end, but for a transaction to complete, the front end has to connect to the middleware to the database, right? So there is a lot of east-west transaction that happens. So there is need for zero trust access control even in the workload space. So Cisco's solution covers for all the three Ws: the workforce, the workplace, and the workloads. And it's so comprehensive that we came out as leaders in most of the analyst reports that you can see on zero trust.
Oh, interesting. But I do have a view on the clock, Ashraf, and my obviously this is a conversation that we can continue to no end because it is so important and critical. But when you look at the evolution or the evolving sophistication of the threat landscape, Ashraf, what at Cisco will be the innovation in the coming months or years to help industry put more resolute and resilient feet forward in their journey to value acceleration?
Oh, that's a good point. So in fact, Cisco has made an investment in this, the area that we call it security platform, or what we call it as in general terms, XDR, extended detection and response capabilities, way back in 2020. And this is continuing. So what we have is a platform that is available to every customer of Cisco Security, which kind of simplifies the problem of cybersecurity. The biggest challenge that we see today in cyber is complexity around too many tools. And vendor consolidation is something that we are seeing many customers and many organizations are focused on. So the investments that Cisco is making is in this platform will help customers to handle cyber threats much faster than what they are doing today.
Traditionally do.
What traditionally, yes, yeah, and that will kind of help them to accelerate the response, automate what they're trying to do in their SecOps incident response and threat detection, threat hunting processes. And this is continuing. So we're also bringing in new capabilities into that, like device insights. We're bringing insights of endpoints from third-party tools as well. They may be using an MDM. They may be using Cisco's endpoint security or a third-party endpoint security. There is a risk context around it. And when you look at vulnerabilities of all these endpoints together in a single dashboard, scored on what are the key vulnerabilities, what's my hygiene, what's my cyber hygiene right now, with live data feeds coming from different tools. So these are things that Cisco has invested in, and very soon we'll also see them rolling out in the field. And the bottom line to all this is Cisco is doing this for as a platform which is actually available to all customers free of cost. There's no commercial attached to it. So if you're a customer owning email security or an endpoint security or a network security solution, you get this on top, and you can keep adding other capabilities with it.
Fascinating. No, fascinating indeed. But that's pretty much what we have time for in this fireside chat. And I know, Ashraf, that you are going to be executing your keynote, and I'm sure the audience and all of us will love to listen to Cisco's story of how organizations can build the resilient enterprises of tomorrow. Thank you so very much.
Thank you. Thank you for having me, Ajay. So for the next 25 minutes, I'm going to talk about security resilience and how it helps organizations to protect the integrity of business amidst unpredictable change. I'm Ashraf, I lead systems engineering for cybersecurity business at Cisco Systems. So uncertainty has become the new normal. Who knew when we all left offices back in March 2020, mid-March 2020, and we're going to be, working from remote for the next, 1.5, 2 years. That's something that hit us so abruptly. So what we are seeing is disruptions or changes that are coming to us as our, they're coming at us faster than ever before, right? And businesses are making massive investments across enterprise to strengthen resilience because of this. It could be from financial resilience to operational resilience, from organizational resilience to supply chain resilience. These initiatives are designed to help businesses operate in new normal. And these investments will fall short without security resilience because security cuts across every aspect of these initiatives in the digitized world. Moreover, if you're not investing in security resilience, you're introducing additional risk to the investments that you're making. So what do we mean by security resilience? Security resilience is the ability to protect the integrity of every aspect of your business to withstand unpredictable or changes and then emerge more stronger. The key is to recognize the environment we operate in is unpredictable. All is that there will continue to be disruptions, so we can prepare for what comes next. And when it comes, you will come out of it stronger. So security resilience is confronting a new world where everyone and everything are connected. Businesses are operating as integrated ecosystems with boundaries between corporations, customers, suppliers, and partners, all blurring. Additionally, connections between people, devices, and data are ever expanding with billions of open, shared, and accessible touchpoints. We have everything today. Businesses are also adjusting to constantly shifting work patterns, and hybrid work is here to stay. It is also getting complicated with multi-environment IT reality. Not everything in the data is in the data center. Not everything is in the cloud. We are now in the transition to optimize for what works best, moving back and forth between traditional and modern approaches. The fact of the matter is, it's not all over on the right, or rather on the left. Cloud, SD-WAN, DevOps, containers, mobile. Organizations are finding themselves shifting and refining, which makes security resilience even more challenging. The focus of resilience is bringing security concerns to the forefront, raising questions around what matters most to us right now. Right? Do we have visibility across my attack surface to detect them all? When we are exposed to a risk directly or indirectly, directly hitting us or indirectly through the supply chain, are we prepared for it? If we get breached, how fast can we recover? How fast can we contain or reduce the impact of it? How are we going to measure progress? And this is important in any security investments. If you can show progress, you will continue to have your management supporting your investments. Resilience requires a shift to a new security strategy. Security resilience requires more than what we just had in the past. In the past, we used to have point solutions focused on threat prevention. All threats are equal, and we start correlating them with a bunch of them coming into one single platform. With security resilience, we focus on detection, response, and recovery, not just prevention. And we need a platform that is connected, which gives us context-centric information. Intelligence across your organization is connected so that you have a single view of what's called a cyber hygiene, a risk profile of your organization, gathering information from your end users, endpoints, network, branch office networks, data center networks, applications on the cloud, SaaS applications on the cloud, and so on and so forth. So what does it take for an organization to adopt cybersecurity resilience? Number one, there are five dimensions for it. Number one, see more and activate billions of signals. With telemetry across your ecosystems and active monitoring and filtering, you can see data that is coming from every attack vector. Anticipate what next, and embrace shared actionable intelligence, expertise, and the expertise to always know when your world is changing, right? That's important as well. Take right action, prioritize what is most important, and with risk-based context. With cybersecurity, we get a lot of data. Most of the cyber practitioners talk about, alert fatigue, right? So this is an important capability to have, and ensure that you can find the needle in the haystack faster. Close the gaps. Number 4. This is something that most organizations start looking at, right? And in some cases, they may lose track when they start adopting cloud. And this is important to consider. Close the gaps and achieve a pervasive defense across the ecosystem with an open integrated platform. Open platform today helps you to have your own integration built on top of it instead of depending on what the vendor would release in the next software release cycle. And get stronger every day. Optimize efficacy by orchestration. By orchestrating and automating your response, you can spring back faster. That's another key capability to have. So it's not on any one of these 5 independently. It is 5 of these working together that helps you attain cybersecurity resilience and emerge stronger in the face of unpredictable change. So Cisco Secure has an incredible vantage point for protecting the integrity of business and help you build a cyber security resilience strategy. Cisco has more than 80% of its internet traffic. More than 80% of the internet traffic today goes through Cisco infrastructure, right, in some form or the other. And our software solutions are protecting them. And there are about 67 million mailboxes that we protect, 87 million endpoints that we are having visibility and protection to today. World over, we have 300,000 customers who trust Cisco with their security by partnering with us, and that's an important thing to look at. And Cisco is also one of those, and it's customer zero for security business. 100% of Fortune 500 customers trust Cisco Secure, right? We have customers investing in Cisco Secure from this Fortune 100 list as well. And in terms of our footprint, we have a massive footprint that gives us incredible telemetry that we turn into actionable intelligence. Cisco has a Talos Intelligence Research Group that sees 1.4 million new malware samples every day. And this is again fed back into the platform as intelligence for those who have not seen it to be protected from it. And after all, we recognize that it's not all Cisco in every customer, right? So there will be third-party products, there will be third-party integrations that is required. Cisco is actually working on 400 plus with 400 plus third-party ecosystem partners to build integrations, cross-product integrations. So the portfolio that Cisco has can be put into an architecture of its own, which can be directly consumed by organizations across the world. Number one, if you see user and device security itself, right? We have capabilities that covers for zero trust, that covers the entire workforce, wherever they are operating from, whether they are hybrid, whether they are completely on-prem, completely remote. We have solutions that allows us to validate device trust, user trust, and ensure that we have trust-based access control for users, uh, be it employees, vendors, or partners. We also have passwordless biometric access control solutions that allows us to ease the experience of end users when they are trying to access applications in a secure manner. And we also have email security that covers for end user security, because a lot of end users today are the weakest link to acknowledge, and they are being targeted through email threat campaigns, right? So email security is something that we cover for as well, beyond what an email security provider like Office 365 or G Suite would offer. And we have the SASE, Secure Access Service Edge for remote workers, that covers with capabilities that stacks up, right? Today, if I look at the end user security, there could be 1, 2, 3, 4 different clients that delivers all these capabilities. And Cisco has a unified client that reduces the real estate on the endpoint to ensure that we reduce the complexity there. So you can do VPN, you can do posture management on the endpoint. You can also use anti-ransomware, anti-malware capabilities on the same client. Also proactively query the endpoint for any threat hunt, threat investigation that's happening wherever the endpoint is connected. So EDR comes within it. And we have a cloud managed capability for that. So we can turn on and turn off any of these capabilities from a centralized console as well. And we deliver secure internet gateway, secure web gateway, which is cloud web proxy capabilities out of the same client. Above all, we have 1000 eyes, which gives, because today when you distribute the workforce, it is good. So far we had distributed branch offices, and we are able to maintain quality of service for user experience from all these branch offices. The moment you spread them out of the branch office to wherever they want to operate from, user experience becomes critical, and 1000 eyes visibility solution helps us to address them very well. The second stack that I want to highlight is network security. So we have network security traditionally comes from firewalls, and now firewalls are not just in the perimeter, because the perimeter has blown out of proportion. So we have it's blurred, and we have a cloud edge now that takes all the security capabilities to the cloud, attaches security to the flow from end user to the application, right? So we have zero trust network access through our umbrella solution, umbrella and duo solution. We cover for complete secure access service edge capabilities. And what's unique to Cisco is we are also the SD-WAN vendor for customers. So we can combine the capability of SD-WAN and secure access and secure security services edge to give a unified solution for SASE. And on the application stack, we have a security stack. We have security that covers for workloads, whether it is bare metal, virtual, or containers, all the way up to the application stack for runtime security on the applications, covering the entire ecosystem. And if you have applications running on CSPs, the hyperscalers, there are more threats that one has to cover for, and that's covered through cloud access security brokerage and secure cloud analytics solutions that we have in the stack. What's unique and where to Cisco, and Cisco is investing heavily on this, is the XDR that we give as a complementary solution to all our customers. So if you're a customer of any one or any of these products, you get this umbrella solution on top, which is SecureX, that covers for three things. You get a unified console, bringing in threat visibility across all these products. So you can do managed detection response from this interface. You get device insights, and you also can do risk-based vulnerability management from this single console. So there are widgets that brings in risk score so that you can see in a single app the cyber hygiene of your overall enterprise. So all the data points, all the KPIs one has to see in a console is available through SecureX as an XDR platform. On top of all this, Talos is one of the renowned and largest threat research organization of the industry, and we have threat data that we collate and we feed into each one of these products from Talos. And Talos threat intel is so valuable that it helps you to prevent attacks faster. And they get unmatched visibility. So we saw that 1.4 million malware samples every day. So imagine this kind of threat intel feeding into your security defense is valuable for threat defense. So if I apply some use cases on top of it, number one, common identity. So the identity information that we have on the from the endpoint can be used across the ecosystem. For example, I don't want to allow vulnerable endpoints with Apache vulnerability or let's say Adobe vulnerability to access my application. So look at the context. We used to have access control based on IP address. So we can now bring in endpoint context from posture, from information that we have from the endpoint suite to apply for to adaptively apply them for application access control. So that's one of the key capabilities I want to highlight as an outcome of this reference architecture or a platform. Number two, the zero trust network access. So network access used to be based on IP addresses, right? We always used to honor access to a particular source by IP address normally, and it's static access control or by looking at the username and password of that end user. Today, with zero trust, you can eliminate risks of allowing a vulnerable endpoint with a browser vulnerability or a rooted operating system in Android or iOS, or an endpoint without a fingerprint lock. So all these are risks that you can eliminate when you're giving access control to your application. So you only give the right users access to the right application. So of course, that has always been there based on user profile. But what we are doing here is actually looking at the endpoint context, eliminating risks so that we can prevent any attacks to go through, right? Because these are the weaknesses threat actors, the bad actors are looking after. And we are, with zero trust network access solutions, we are able to prevent them so that you can stop a threat before it can even materialize. And finally, the XDR capability from SecureX brings in telemetry from all these products into a single console to give you threat visibility, to give you device insights, and to give you cyber hygiene metrics that tells you, yes, today, if I go into my console, I can see, yes, I have 10,000 endpoints, 500 workloads, and this is the cyber hygiene score that I have. And these are the areas that I need to focus on. Yes, I have Patch Tuesday coming from Microsoft, and there are 1,000 new vulnerabilities that I need to focus on from patching. But here are the 10, 20, 30 vulnerabilities that I should be looking at in the next 2 days, because having them active in my environment is calling the threat actors to invade, right? So those are the kind of insights that you get out of these dashboards. Very, very useful for a cyber practitioners or SecOps teams to focus on the needle in the haystack. So overall, if I have to summarize, security underpins everything, right? The resilience that we talked about, it underpins everything, whether it's financial, operational, supply chain, or organizational resilience that we are looking at. It strengthens the financial resilience, ensuring the integrity of your financial data assets, making sure nobody gets what they shouldn't be getting into, right? So that's very important. Today, financial fraud can start with a simple phishing email, right? We are seeing that in practice today. So these are common elements to go after, right? So financial data protection needs security resilience, and That's something that security resilience strengthens. It also strengthens operational integrity, making sure you understand your risk exposure and limit the impact of your exposure when you have a attack that is hitting you on in your business operation. It also strengthens your supply chain attacks, supply chain being a source of your threat is common these days. We have seen it in SolarWinds supply chain attack and many in the past as well. And this is a key aspect to look at when you look at cyber resilience as a strategy. Helps you withstand these shocks. So when you look at operational resilience or supply chain resilience, it helps you to withstand the shock and bounce back very quickly. It strengthens your organizational resilience as well, right? Organizations are going through many changes. Today, hybrid work is a common thing that every organization is trying to adopt. How do you make sure every employee, partner, or vendor who's gaining access to the business assets, business IT assets, are secured and they have secure access to these systems and they are not the source of threat? So when you're looking at making measurable progress to strengthen your entire organization, be sure it has a solid foundation in security resilience. This is very important to consider. Cisco Secure can help you wherever you're on the journey to cybersecurity resilience. To sum it up, Cisco has the advantage because of the broadest portfolio that we have in addressing your cybersecurity resilience strategy. And wherever you are in the journey, Cisco can help you. Some of the key characteristics to highlight: it is an open platform. Cisco builds products, and there is API first approach for all the products that we build. So any connections that Cisco product is integrating with another Cisco product does not use any proprietary mechanism. It's always REST API and open APIs that we use. And so can a third-party platform integrate with it. So that way it is completely open and easy to integrate. Any new capabilities one has to bring in can be brought in very easily. And it's elastic. Most of the security solutions are today available through as a service format, and it can scale up and scale down for an enterprise based on workloads, based on users or traffic volume that is given today. It's integrated. So what you see on the screen, whether it's user device, network, or cloud and application security, the capabilities that we have is completely turnkey integrated. So when you get an endpoint security solution and zero trust access control solution, we have off-the-shelf integration that is available. So no code at all has to be written. So these are available off the shelf. So integration is given. However, even if you have to consider 3 products of Cisco, 2 products of third party, we have the open capabilities and REST APIs that allows you to do the integration. And above all, Cisco is a global and trusted brand, and we have 75,000 of brightest minds and across 95 countries building these solutions, be it a campus, data center, cloud, or edge security solution that we're talking about. So talk to us about cybersecurity resilience, your strategy, where you are in your journey to cyber resilience, and we can help you, elevate and achieve your goals in securing your organization. So Cisco Secure can help you power security resilience to protect the integrity of your business amidst unpredictable changes. Thank you for watching, and have a good one.